And we're streaming live and ready to go.
This is Wednesday, August 20th. Got it right that time at 10:03 a.m. It's the time set for the meeting of the Nevada Commission on Ethics. Let's start with the roll call. Chair Scherer is here. Vice Chair Wallen.
Here.
Commissioner Langton is excused. Commissioner Lowry.
Here.
Commissioner Miller. Here. Commissioner Moran.
Here.
Commissioner Reynolds. Here. And Commissioner Smith.
Here.
Staff, Executive Director Armstrong.
Here.
Mission Counsel Bassett.
Here.
Investigator Terry.
Here.
Acting Associated Counsel Hazlett is excused this morning. Executive Assistant Elvira Saldana.
Here.
Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Thank you. Brings us to the first item on our agenda, which is public comment. This comment by any member of the public will be limited to 3 minutes. No action will be taken under this agenda item. Executive Director Armstrong, is there any public comment by email to be read into the record?
There is no public comment by email to be read into the record, and there is no one here physically in the Reno bar office either.
Do we have anyone online who wishes to make public comment?
Elvira Saldana, for the record, no, there currently is no one in the chat.
That brings us to the next item on the agenda, which is approval of the minutes of the June 18th, 2025 commission meeting. We've all had the minutes in your materials. Does anyone have any questions or corrections to the minutes?
I know you can't see us, it's hard. I just have on item 9, commissioner comments. I don't think that's what our intern said. I welcomed him to the team, and then he thanked me, and then it says, and commission staff for doing a great job. I don't think he said that. I think he thanked me, and then I thanked commission staff for doing a great job. And then I went on to thank Assistant Droza for coordinating the meeting. So if that can just be changed, I appreciate it.
That's what I call it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it just didn't make sense.
All right, with that correction, is there a motion to approve the minutes? So move. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are approved unanimously. Commissioner Langton, of course, is not here today, and so he was not able to participate. Next item is consideration and review of the draft fiscal year 2025 annual report presented by the Executive Director. Pursuant to NAC 281A 180(2) and possible direction thereof. Ross, the presentation on this item.
Sure, I will. This is Executive Director Armstrong. For the record, just some background, as we have some commissioners who are now on the commission that were not here last time in terms of our process. We have an NAC that says there shall be like an annual report to the commission on their items. It's specific to like legislation, operation, budget. There's no requirement that we publish an annual report, but what we have found is in doing so, we have an incredibly great communication tool, and we're able to tell our story, especially during legislative sessions or to folks who want to know more about the commission. We used to have a regulation that said it had to be approved by the second meeting of the fiscal year. So if you look online, that is still what's up there. They haven't updated it since the regulations we changed, which was fine until like the last 3 years where we've had emergency meetings in July, and then all of a sudden we have to get stuff done very quickly. And so the regulation has changed so that it's by the end of October, we approve the annual report. So at this first meeting, it's always essentially a first very rough draft. So like the table of contents will always be off at that point. And so at this meeting, it's helpful for us to get feedback from the commissioners. Are there any big parts of our story we're missing? Is there stuff in the report that maybe is not needed in the report? And is there data maybe we want to be including that we have not. And then between now and what will be the October meeting, we'll go in and make those adjustments. We'll get some of that design ready to go. It's like it currently basically has the same colors as the last year. I find it helpful when I'm in the office trying to find the year to have a little bit differentiation in colors. So we might change the colors a little bit. But this is your opportunity to provide some feedback. So I'm gonna run through it very quickly. I'm not gonna go like line by line. But just tell you kind of what we have included this year. On page 3, there's always a welcome letter from the chair, which we'll be selecting later today, and the executive director. We provide some background on the commission, the staff. We include our guiding principles, some operational highlights, some incoming case data. That's always helpful, especially if we get cities or counties asking why they pay for so much of our budget. We can say, look at how much of our cases you are. And then because you guys adopted a strategic plan last year, we have a bigger section on the strategic plan. It includes a fiscal update. You'll notice that the local government assessments and state general funds are blank. We're working with fiscal. They actually provided some numbers on Thursday, which have the exact numbers of funds received. There's always a section on regulatory and legislative status, outreach and education updates. And then in the back, starting with the appendix, we essentially list all the cases, complaint cases we resolved and what those results were. And then in the back also is where we kind of, I don't want to say flood people, but we include a bunch of data. So if people have a question about the specific data in the commission, we have it there. One of the things we also do between now and finalization is clean that data and do a double check and make sure that data is accurate. And some of the items, like I'll just point to page 27 of the report. There's a fun Sankey graph that we've used the last couple of years. And you'll see that the last time we updated this graph, there were 31 pending jurisdictional determinations. Most of those have now been processed, and so we can update that graph to show what actually happened in the jurisdictional review. So that'll be something you see change in October also. So at this time, I'd welcome any feedback so that staff can work between now and October to create the annual report that you think will best tell our story.
Any questions, feedback, comments? Don't show on.
Yes, of course. I like the report. It shows we've done quite a bit, okay? But I would like to see us kind of shrink it down a little bit. It's now like 44 pages long, and I think last year I have it here, it was like 30 pages long. And I know that when you pass out big, thick reports, they don't get read. So I think maybe kind of shrink down the implementation of the strategic plan. It's pretty detailed going in there. And I think maybe the successes from the implementation might be better highlighted. And then, okay, our next steps, some goals in there, kind of shrink those down. The section when we get into outreach and education, what they want to do, what the plan is. I mean, there's a lot of detail in here, right? So it's not so much like a report, it's more of like, well, this is my goals for the next year. So I think we can kind of, let's put the highlights, the key points, what are we're trying to do here. And then in the expanded outreach efforts, social media outreach reporting, that gets pretty bogged down, agency training partnerships. So I think if we can just kind of shrink it down, and then when I was going through there, there's some places where the graphs don't match the verbiage in previous sections and stuff. So I know that this is a rough draft and stuff, but those are just my high level comments. And when our OEO is back available, I would sit down and talk to them about some other typo and just wording and stuff, I mean, that just don't make sense.
Yeah.
Those are my comments.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Just a quick comment. I'm gonna go a little bit the other way, but I found the like case trends.
Mhm.
I thought that was very important. I'd like to see that expanded a little bit in terms of what I like what was done, but I think it's important to me to see because that relates back to educational effort. You know, what is trending in with our cases and that. So even if you have to put a breakout in the appendices, I think it's important to show at least, you know, the major areas where our cases are trending.
Yeah, I think that section is something that's pretty new in the report, so that's great feedback. Good work on that.
Anyone else? Commissioner Lowry?
Is there any value recognizing Vice Chair Wallen's observations? I love how thorough it is. I absolutely understand in terms of who is our audience and are they gonna read it? And do we need to synopsize some things? Is there value to kind of having an internal commission copy that's a little longer? That does, I really like that our strategic plan it is out there and it helps hold us accountable. So that the commission has maybe a longer version of it. For purposes of historical record, accountability and those things. And then what we pass out is maybe a more synopsized, concise, readable version. I don't know if that makes sense, but I see value in both.
Perhaps having an executive summary. Of it, I mean, because I think both would be public documents.
Right, not that they wouldn't be public documents, but that if you were handing out, you'd hand out the
Executive
argument,
summary.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, but one
And
of
which
the,
could note that there is, you know, if you want.
An
a full-
expanded
If
version.
you want the expanded version, you're welcome to, just let us know, essentially.
yeah, what we typically do is once we have a final version, especially on our like social media outreach, we'll say, here's a graph and here's some commentary, and if you want to read the whole thing here. But so maybe there's an opportunity to have the full report and then maybe like a 1-pager on complaints or, you know, a 2-pager on, you know, that has data and commentary and trends. And those like 1-pagers could be, so we'll explore that.
But nicely done.
Other thoughts? I have one on appendix A and B. And I think if we look at this, it doesn't look like I don't know that it really captures kind of the work of the commission.
Mhm.
And I know we talk about the total number of cases, but I wonder whether we might note. I know you've got a couple of footnotes here that essentially say this isn't all of the cases. But whether we might put somewhere in appendix A and or B that these are the number of cases that were dismissed or resolved short of going to the review panel. I know we can't give much detail on those because they're confidential. But if we could have some kind of a notation that would say, you know, whatever it is, 150 cases were resolved, were either dismissed or resolved short of the review panel. But because of confidentiality, we can't provide a detailed breakdown of those.
Yeah, we can look at that.
I just think that gives a better sense of the work that the commission does. Because a lot of it, I mean, I think when I was first appointed, I didn't really realize how much of the work was done by email and reviewing documents and done outside of the meetings. But there's a lot of it.
Yeah, I know that I was surprised coming in, like how much work we put in to say no.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I mean, we look at every complaint seriously and it's important that we do, but I mean that it's like, oh, here's a big chunk of no, like that's a lot of work, even if it's not.
Yeah.
Resulting in investigations and cases.
No, I just think if there's some way that we can capture that, I think it would be worthwhile. And I don't think it has to be, it can be expansive because of the confidentiality provisions of the law.
And then appendix C, the advisory opinions, and we did this in the last report. We organized them by the main topics, so like cooling off, they'd all be together, disclosure, abstention, because then it's a much more useful tool if somebody wants to look and say, oh, let me see these advisory opinions with this instead of, you know, scrolling through there, so that would be great.
Anything else? We don't need a motion on that topic, so let's move on to the next item on the agenda. which is a report by the executive director on the agency status and operations. Executive Director Armstrong.
Thank you. This is Executive Director Armstrong. A quick update on our operations. So we're currently recruiting for the senior legal researcher position, which is vacant. That is posted on the state website. So you can direct, if you know anyone, you can direct them there for the posting. I'll say that the central HR now has a much flashier job posting that talks about the benefits of living in Nevada and all sorts of great things. So I think they're doing a much better recruitment product than just with the Word document we send them. They talk a little bit about the commission. It's actually a good positive thing for a tough job that they're usually pretty under-resourced. So that closes mid-September. We already have one applicant for that position, which is great. As you can tell, today, our former executive assistant, Carrie, got a great big promotion and headed over to taxation, which we're so excited for her personally and professionally there. And Elvira is now our executive assistant, week 3. Always fun to start with meeting materials on week 2. And so we're happy to have Elvira. And then we have Paul over the summer as our SLR intern. He was pretty, it was great. I'll say, like, it's something that we should consider. I think in our budget build would be to ask for funding. We were able to fund him because we had a vacancy in the SLR position. He was here for 6 weeks. It went super fast.
Yes.
He was a great help in getting tasks done. And I think we were able to make it a meaningful experience for him, right? He drafted a settlement statement and jurisdictional determination and advisory opinion. He presented to a review panel.
The review panel, pretty
draft-
big, hefty one.
And so I think that is definitely something worthy of looking forward and seeing if that's something we can fund in the future, because it was a help to us. I think it's good long-term outreach. Paul indicated that he wants to go more into like entertainment and sports law. And so maybe not government service, but wherever he goes, he's going to have a much better understanding of ethics than a lot of attorneys out there in terms of the government ethics. And so I think it's a investment to look forward to in the future. The strategic plan, I'm working on compiling the documents to release the RFP. It's a heavy lift, but thanks to your work in adopting a strategic plan and some of those other items, those are some of the things they need for the RFP process. IT, like we don't have any IT experts on our staff. We don't have IT staff. And so I will thank the Governor's Office of Information Technology. They volunteered someone with technical skills to sit on the RFP
This is Michael Lang.
panel.
Sorry.
The
Yeah, hang on one second.
public feedback is in the field. Liz sent that out, so we're still analyzing those as they come in terms of the reputational survey, and our education numbers continue to grow. As far as the budget update, we're working on fully closing out 2025. There's always like some invoices to hunt down and truing up revenue and making sure all the budget categories go right, but we are working with fiscal on that. The local government billings, so for those that aren't familiar, about 73% of our budget comes from local governments, so those have started for this fiscal year to come in. I had anticipated maybe some questions because there's a substantial increase this year because of the setup investment in a new case management system, but we haven't heard any pushback or questions about what that is so far. There was a cabinet meeting last week with the governor, and they presented their time frame. And so we know the budget timeline is essentially what it has been in the past, with stuff due in early spring next year for them to review over the summer and then a fall submission. We've started to include recent review panel determinations in the executive director's report. In July, we had 2 review panels. One was a consolidated recommendation regarding Commissioner Gibson and other commissioners of Clark County. That was a referral. And then In Ray Harvey, who's a fire chief out of Lyon County, that one was also referred. Upcoming meetings, It looks like we may have a meeting on September 3rd in the afternoon now. And we'll also have panels. And then October 15th will be in Las Vegas. So I'll be reaching out about travel. And then November 12th will be in Reno, with December planned as a dark month. At least for the main commission. The legislative committee may meet that month, but for the full commission. At the November meeting, we will present kind of the proposed commission dates for next calendar year and approve them so that everybody can plan their 2026. So that is my update. I'm happy to take it. I'm happy to take any questions at this time.
And before we go to questions, I just want to note for the record that Commissioner Langton has joined the meeting by telephone. And I believe is on speaker. So is available. Welcome, Commissioner Langton.
Thank you.
Any questions for Executive Director Armstrong with regard to his report?
I don't have any comments this time. Except for December shouldn't be dark. It's the Festival of Lights.
It will be a very bright month with no meeting.
But we do have the shortest day of the year.
That is true.
Any other questions, comments? All right, let's move on into the next item on the agenda. That's item number 6. Nominations and election of the commission chair and commission vice chair for the upcoming fiscal year.
Chair Scheer, I can make a motion on this if you like.
Here, I'd like to make a few comments before we start.
Okay, let's start with comments. Vice Chair Wallen.
Okay, thank you. Before we make the nominations, I want to share with the new commissioners, and even with those who've only been here a couple of years, what the tradition has been in nominating the chair and vice chair. Because we're considered to be a nonpartisan body, we always have one person who has been appointed by the governor and one from the legislature, and they have to be from different parties. We don't have to pick a new chair and vice chair every year. If they are doing their job, come to the meetings prepared, and are professional and respectful, they can continue serving as chair and vice chair. When I started on the commission, Cheryl Lau was the chair, and she served as chair until her term ended. These are the qualifications one should consider for a person to serve as chair or vice chair. They come to the meetings prepared, having read the materials. They are respectful and don't interrupt when another person is talking. The chair will ask the other commissioners to ask their questions or offer their thoughts first. They are interested and participate in all of the business of the commission, and not just certain cases that they have a special interest in. They also participate and ask questions of the executive director and the outreach and education officer when they present their reports. Attendance at the meetings in person as chair and vice chair is very important. So you should look at your fellow commissioners' attendance records when making your decisions. I asked the executive director to send me the attendance records for the last fiscal year, but I only have July until March for the jurisdictional determinations, advisory opinions, and review panel. Attendance at the meetings are for the full fiscal year. Let me share these with you. For the meetings, in alphabetical order, Commissioner Langton has attended 63% of our meetings in the last year, and he has been in person 4 out of the last 8. Lowry has attended 88% of the meetings, and she's attended 3 out of the last 8. Moran has attendance record of 88% and has attended 0 meetings in person. Commissioner Reynolds, 100% attendance, and he has attended 6 out of the 8. Commissioner Scheer has 100% attendance and has attended 7 out of the 8. The one that he missed was right after he got nominated as chair and didn't know that he was going to be chair, so he was excused. Myself, 100% attendance, 8 out of 8 in person. Commissioner Miller, since he's been here, 100%, and he's attended 3 out of 3 in person. Smith, 75%. She has attended 1 out of 4 in person since she came on. Review panels, Langton, 100% attendance. Lowry, 100%. Moran, 67%. Reynolds, 100%. Smith, 100%. Wallen, 100%. Jurisdictional determinations, Langton, 82%, Lowry, 95%, Moran, 93%, Reynolds, 97%, Shear, 95%, Wallen, 100%, Miller, 100%, Smith, 100%. Advisory opinions, Langton, 94%, Lowry, 100%, Moran, 47%, Reynolds, 100%, Shear, 100%, Wallen, 100%, Miller, 100%, Smith, 100%. So before we begin, I just want to ask Chair Shear, do you want to continue being chair?
I'm willing to continue being chair, yes.
Okay, and I would be willing to continue to be vice chair as well. So now we can entertain a motion.
Are there any other comment? Well, since we're starting with comments, are there any other comments before we entertain a motion? Or do we want to wait? We want to have a motion to comment on.
Let's have a motion to comment on.
Okay, Commissioner Moran, since you said you wanted to make a motion,
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. And again, appreciate your work as a chair in the last year. I'd like to appoint you to another term for the next year. I think you've done a great job. You've kept the commission on track, focused and consistent and compatible and friendly, cordial. And I appreciate that. You run a very good meeting and you definitely have the experience to continue doing it adequately, appropriately, and for the benefit of the state. I'd also like to appoint as your vice chair, Brianna Smith. I think a change of guard is appropriate. Now is the time. Brianna will be with us for the next year. I feel like she is the right person for this job. It's time to have somebody in leadership that can carry the torch when none of us are here. And I've liked what she's done. I understand what she's done, and she's a professional colleague as well, and appreciate her time. And my motion is to push forward and nominate you as chair with her as your vice chair. Mr. Chair, thank you.
is there a second for that motion?
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion on the motion?
Yes, let me, even though I made the second, I want to discuss that. I feel it's probably important to separate those, and I know in the script for that, you have them together. Is there any reason that we can't take each one separately?
I'll defer to Liz, but I believe you could, under any given agenda item, you can certainly do multiple motions. There's not a limit that there's only one motion per agenda item. So in terms of open meeting law notification, we've notified everybody that there will be election and nominations for those two positions. If you were to do something crazy and like make up a secretary and do something like that would be a way out, but I don't think there's any requirement that there be one motion for both
I
positions.
was just curious to know why it was being done that way, but
I think just because historically we've
And-
had it,
and-
but
and-
we last year we separated them
So
out.
we also have, we also have one other problem. We would have two Republicans.
So that, I think that's the case. Is that
Yeah, that's the
by
case.
law? Is that
It's not by law, but it's been what we want to be.
it's a tradition?
It's a tradition. We want to be nonpartisan.
Well, I'm a big believer in following the law rather than history, quite frankly. I'm a rule follower. So I think we should stay focused on the rule. Last year, we took these as both. I remember I was there and both were voted on. I think there currently is a motion on the floor. I'd like to see it voted on unless there's additional colleague comment that's reasonable and appropriate under the circumstances.
There is a motion and a second. Do we have other comment or Commissioner Reynolds, do you want to withdraw your second?
yeah, I'm gonna withdraw my second on that, because I would like to see each one handled separately.
Do we have another second for Commissioner Moran's motion?
I can go ahead and amend my motion if you'd like to take them separately. I'd make a motion to amend to remove the vice chair, and we can consider her separately. But I say we take care of you as the chair. Let's make a motion. I'll amend my motion to include you as the chair on a go-forward basis for 1 year, Mr. Chair.
I'll second that motion.
Any other
Who is being nominated
Okay.
for vice president?
Okay, so right now, the motion is to nominate Chair Shear to continue as chair. We have not done a motion to nominate a vice chair. Commissioner Rand withdrew his motion.
No, I amended my motion. I amended my motion to withdraw the vice chair from that contemplation and consideration. And we can just leave Chair Shear as the person being considered under the motion. Is there a second on that amendment? I think it's consistent and compatible with your thoughts, Commissioner Langdon, or Commissioner Reynolds.
Reynolds did second that motion. Yes.
So there's no comment on that. Mr. Chair, can we move to a vote on that so we can move to the second item?
Well, is there, I want to see if there's any other comment. Give everyone a chance if there is. Okay. See no other comment, we'll call for the vote. Do we need a roll call vote? We're good by voice vote.
I think,
Who's being nominated?
my recommendation would
We
be
haven't done that yet,
a
right
roll
now
call vote or
on chair.
hands.
Yeah,
We had,
be fine.
in previous years, we've had
So you went to vote.
voice votes on Zoom, and it was kind of hard to tell who voted what. I mean, you're all in the room, but you could also just do it by
Call for
voice,
abstention.
and then if it's close, do it by name. It's up in your discretion.
Well, let's go with a voice vote. If there's any nays, then we'll go with the hands. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This
Any-
is to
any-
vote.
Right.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Mr. Chair, I can make a motion to appoint the Vice Chair Brianna Smith as our Vice Chair. I think she's a good, as I pointed out in the earlier motions that were amended, I think that she's a good person at a good time. Again, she's going to be here for the next year. Her term doesn't expire in May or June of next year. We're going into September, and for purposes of to maintain cohesiveness and consistency, I think I think it'd be a good idea to have her in that position. Again, she comes to these meetings very prepared, has proffered very, very good legal analysis, factual analysis of the issues. She seems to have her head around all of these issues and in quick order in the last year. And I think she'd make a perfect fit. And again, sitting in the passenger seat next to you up in the front, shotgun, I guess is what they call it. I think it'd be very good for her to start seeing how you do business when we're not all in front of each other, so that she could be next in line for that chairman's position or chairperson's position if she'd like it. So that's my motion.
Do we have a second for that motion?
I have comment.
And let's see if we have a second first.
Okay.
Do we have a second for that motion? Looks like the motion fails for lack of a second.
Do we comment if we don't? So yeah,
You
so
can, I mean,
yeah, we
we'll
can
have an
comment.
opportunity to comment, but do we want to see if we have another motion?
I'll move to select to reappoint Vice Chair Wallen as the Vice Chair.
Okay, do we have a second for that motion?
I second it.
Commissioner Lowry seconds that motion. Let's go ahead with comment then on the motion. Does anyone have any comment on the motion?
I didn't hear the
Oh,
motion.
the motion is that Kim Wallen will be vice chair.
Right.
Okay, I second it.
Okay,
All
all right.
right, and any comment on that motion? If not, let's go ahead with the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Looks like that's unanimous as well.
Okay, I have to hang up and get back to my meeting.
Okay, thank you. All right, good luck.
And let the record reflect Commissioner Langton has left the meeting. Brings us to item number 7, which is Commissioner comments on matters, including that limitation, identification of future agenda items, upcoming meeting dates, and meeting procedures. No action will be taken under this agenda item. Any commissioners with any comments they want to make?
I just want to welcome our newest executive assistant, Saldana, to the commission, and I'm looking forward to working with you as well as all the other commissioners. So thank you. You're with a good team.
Any other comments from commissioners?
Just comment, and we can talk about this, Ross, but just made aware after our senior IT person from BNI retired after 30 years. And but is going to be working, doing contract work part-time. So he would be an outstanding person for you to contact. I can give you that. I haven't talked to him about this, but I just, he just actually retired as of August 1st, but is doing some piecework. I don't think there'll be a conflict on that, because he handled just internal business and industry items, so I don't think there's anything that would conflict, but you may want to look at that before, but he would be outstanding. I worked with him for 10 years and I know that he's very, very good.
Great, I'll get his information from you.
Any other comments, from commissioners? I want to thank the commissioners for their confidence in me going forward. I want to congratulate Vice Chair Wallen. Look forward to continuing to work with her and the staff and all of you in the year ahead. And again, to Executive Assistant Saldana, welcome aboard. We're glad to have you. If there are no other comments from commissioners, let's move on to the last item, public comments. Executive Director Armstrong, has any public comment by email come in during the meeting?
We have not received any public comment by email during the meeting. There is no one here in the bar office in Reno, and there is no public on the Zoom.
Thank you. So with that, we'll close that item. To adjourn. And we have a motion to adjourn from Commissioner Miller, seconded by Vice Chair Wallen. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you.